Welcome back for a final helping of oysters, clams, and clickers presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin here with Barrett Dudley to discuss and review the Season 2 finale of The Last of Us on HBO. Barrett, how is your morale?
My morale is, I would call it the equivalent. It's the equivalent of when Daenerys forgets about the Iron Fleet. My morale is when I forget that other people have guns too.
Oh yeah,
and I just sprint as fast as I can
into
rooms where into which I cannot see. I just like bust through the door. I just like I'm the fucking Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
yeah. That's how I would describe.
That's how you feel right now.
My morale. Yeah.
A couple of things up top. One, I knew Jesse was toast when I clicked on what is now I guess again referred to as the HBO Max app.
Mm-hmm.
Clicked on The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And the cover image for episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
was a close-up of Jesse's face. I turned to my wife and I said, "Oh, he's gonna die. He's gonna die." Just knew it instantly. Maybe it's because we've watched enough HBO shows, or maybe it's just because I really love me a context clue. But they have got to stop. Make it a more generic image.
Right.
If it does matter.
Just like a landscape. Like the landscape of Seattle / Vancouver.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Just the wheel. They could put the wheel. I guess that's a little spoiler.
Not really though. Not for non-gamers. They could have made it the Ferris wheel. They could have made it Ellie in a boat. They could have made it Ellie being strung up by the Sarapites to make you think, "Oh God, anything but Jesse's frickin' face, man."
So Jesse has a lot of classic moments in this episode that signal that somebody is about to die.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was honestly, I was very worried for. It would not have completely shocked me to leave this episode with the only person from Jackson still being alive, Ellie. I had Dina, Tommy, and Jesse all on the chopping block for this episode.
Oh, okay. You mean everybody from Jackson that was in Seattle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. The posse, Ross. They did. When it all came down to it, they got themselves a little posse. They sure did.
It was just smaller than the original posse concept.
It wasn't quite a full 16-man posse. But it was a quarter posse. That's what we call that's what we call a quarter posse.
The classic quarter posse.
The classic quarter posse.
Yeah.
I did not.
You didn't. That didn't register for you.
No, because I don't really even pay attention. Like I have no idea what this episode was called.
Convergence.
Oh, that's right. I actually did know that
because everything converges.
Yeah.
The storylines.
Oh, I got some questions for you about Convergence. How do you want to do this? Do you want to just jump into plot and talk about it as we go?
Yeah, and I kind of have a more bare bones version of the plot than normal, rather than getting too into the weeds and the details of it, because I feel like the overall discussion is more important for this finale and to kind of share our feelings on the season on the whole. So, episode 7, titled Convergence, 50 minutes, which surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of people expected maybe like one of the hour and 20 minute, hour and 30 minute big time finales. But no, this one was written by Neil Druckmann, Haley Gross, and Craig Mazin, directed by Nina Lopez Corrado. And the season finale kicks off with Jesse trying to get the arrow out of Dina's leg, and the vibes pretty much remain in this like disturbing zone of pain for the entire 50 minutes. Jesse offers Dina a drink, realizes she's pregnant because of the combo of drink refusal and saying, "I can't die." But they get the arrow out. Dina rests. Jesse paces anxiously with his rifle. And then Ellie shows up after beating Whale and Wheel out of Nora and leaving her to turn.
Was that what? Whale?
Whale.
W-H?
And Wheel.
Whale?
Whale?
Wheel?
And Wheel. Yeah, okay. Whale and Wheel.
Okay.
Were the two clues she got.
Did Whale factor in?
Out of Nora. It did. It did indeed. And I'll share more about that when we get to it.
There must be a big whale I missed.
There's a big whale image. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, again, you got to get an OLED TV, Barrett. Dina takes off Ellie's shirt to clean her up. Ellie's back is beat and bruised to shit. And then Ellie tells Dina what she did to Nora, which is clearly impacting her.
Uh-huh.
Like,
sort of.
Yeah, it's tough to read, right? Because she's like, I was shocked by how easy it was to hurt her.
Right.
And I hurt her until she gave me what I wanted.
Yeah.
But she does have this chilling look on her face, like she's...
It's like coming to... It's not... What she did in and of itself is not bothering her. It's like her coming to grips with she might be a monster, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a big theme of this final episode is like Ellie coming to terms with what she has become.
Right.
And it's been a talking point. Like, I think Joel initially, especially through season 1, tries to shield Ellie from the violent world that they are now in. Not that the world wasn't violent pre-apocalypse, but he tries to keep her from having to kill people. He feels really bad when she does have to kill that one dude to protect him or whatever. Or not kill him, but, start the path towards death. Tommy says, he doesn't want Ellie to have to make the same type of decisions that Joel made. And it seemed like this was sort of a theme throughout the course of the finale. Ellie grappling with what she's capable of, right? So she tells Dina what she did to Nora and what Joel did to the Fireflies and Abby's dad, basically giving Dina the explanation for why these people came and killed Joel. And so Dina is like, we probably should go home. This mission is, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, and she's nonplussed about this. This is not exactly, despite all of the big talk that she did out there on the streets of on the mean streets of Seattle about how it doesn't really matter what Joel did. This clearly is like, oh, well, I didn't know it was going to be this bad, right?
Oh, he slaughtered an entire hospital full of people who were simply trying to save the world from this cordyceps virus situation.
Yeah. So it's definitely like I'm gonna need some time with that one.
Yeah. And I mean, considering all the circumstances, the pregnancy, the fact that she's already taken an arrow.
Yeah, right. I do have to. I got to ask you, what did you take any significance from the back injury? I was like, I didn't understand how the back wounds were like. What'd you do last night? Like, how was that connected? I don't. Where did she get injured on her back?
I wasn't really connecting Ellie's back with the Nora, hospital chase down. I think it was more of just like, God, she's been through a lot.
Okay.
Because frankly, looking at her back, I was like, she's got to have internal bleeding. Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Just putting herself through hell out here. And that also probably factors into Dina being like, we need to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at you. Look at what you just did. Now you've given me the reasoning behind all this. Like, this just doesn't...
Yeah.
This doesn't strike me as a sound mission anymore. So then we get our Seattle Day 3 title card. This is Day 3 in Seattle. Jesse and Ellie pack up their shit. They're going to go and find Tommy at the rendezvous point, which is a library, and they're going to leave the pregnant 19-year-old to fend for herself.
Real shocking decision there. Couldn't believe that.
And I loved how on the way out, Jesse's like, so you're good, right? To barricade solo? She can barely walk.
Yeah.
She's limping around with an arrow wound that's still bleeding.
Yes.
And they're like, we got to go find our boy.
I can't express that enough. This girl can barely walk.
And they leave her there.
She is not mobile.
By herself.
Yeah.
Pregnant, bleeding.
I guess they don't have a better option. Like,
the better option would have been
with them.
One of them should have stayed. Probably Ellie.
Yeah.
Like, Jesse, go find Tommy. I understand somebody needs to go find Tommy. I get it. But, both of them leaving her.
They tried to explain this real quick. Ellie's like, it'll be safer with both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, they give us some pretty flawed reasoning by my standards. But you needed to get to the point where Ellie and Jesse could then split up. So I guess, whatever. It works, but it really pissed me off. Like, leaving the 19-year-old pregnant girl was a little bit of a psychotic misstep. So while they walk, Jesse tells Ellie that he figured out Dina is pregnant and now he can't die because he has a kid on the way. And you combine that line with the cover image and it's over for this cat. Like, but that was one of the moments where you're like, okay,
yep,
classic about to die guy stuff here.
Correct. This, honestly, more so than the screen grabs that these streamers pick, select. This is what I want to stop. This is a giveaway.
Don't give these to us.
Yes,
those lines.
These little soliloquies, these little moments where a character's like, "But now I can't die because everything hinges on me, and now I found love in my heart."
It's just an immediate giveaway that person is toast,
right?
In this episode,
yeah.
It's never later down the line when you get these type of lines. It's soon, very soon.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It could be done a little bit more.
I feel like there's
savvy.
a way. I feel like there's a way. Yes, to make this a little bit more,
a little less obvious.
But maybe there's not. Maybe I'm thinking about it. You're in this like post-apocalyptic, like ultra-violent show where lots of people die. Like somebody says one line about how they can't die or about how they've got love in their heart now, and that's just like. That's all they have to say, as subtle as they might try to be, and I feel like, this person's dying. So yeah,
it was also
it's a tough stitch.
It was also kind of just to pick it apart a little further. Everybody made fun of the Ellie saying, "I'm gonna be a dad," and it did feel like Jesse also very quickly jumped to like, "Well, now I can't die because I have to be here to like take care of this child." And it's not that you don't eventually come to terms with that sort of feeling and responsibility, because you do. I just don't think it's 5 minutes after finding out your girlfriend who's not your girlfriend is pregnant.
It is definitely not.
It takes time.
It takes time
for those things to set in, and he's just immediately hits the switch to Dad Jesse.
Even if things are like sped up because you're in like things are really flying around because like you're sort of you're continuing humanity in a way that's like more focused than it is pre-apocalypse, right?
Gotta repopulate the earth.
You gotta repopulate the earth. So maybe that sets in a little bit faster, but still maybe like a few weeks or a month.
You need at least a few days to process.
I'm telling you, this does not register for a little while, like
No, for men, it takes a little bit to become real.
Yes.
You're not experiencing the physical changes.
Nothing.
Anyway, it's neither here nor there. It just kind of was like, okay.
Oh, don't worry. We're good. We'll have more to say.
Okay, good. So then on the way to the library, Ellie and Jesse witness the WLF capturing a member of the Sarapites, stripping him down, and dragging him off. And I guess this is just like a spy or a scout that they found across that had crossed into their territory or something.
Yeah.
The part that matters is that Ellie wants to try and help the Scar with a cheeky. And Jesse stops her and says, "This isn't their war."
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scene that it felt a bit forced to me, just because I was like, I get Jesse's point. It isn't their war. And I was frustrated with Ellie trying to run all gung-ho at 6 heavily armed men to save a total stranger that she doesn't have any context about.
Yeah.
That was, it just, I guess it served to be a part of this sort of I'm a good person and you're a bad person thing that Jesse and Ellie have going all episode.
Yeah.
I
for the most part, I agree with you. I think that there are moments in this episode that felt forced or ham-fisted or a little too on the nose. And this is the first one of them. It's also let's see, I'm trying to go through everything. What is it? Our second big, or it's our first real big act of violence in this episode.
Yes.
And there are so many of them, and they are all so just like knock down, drag out, like brutal. And so it's weird. It does feel a little weird to like have it be kind of like have a moment like that kind of be used to manipulate the circumstances in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they needed Ellie and Jesse to argue about this so that it could come up later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't love it. This is a perfect example of a scene that felt straight out of the video game.
Right.
Right. Where maybe I get being loyal to the game. I get it. But you kind of have to pick your spots, and I feel like this is one they could have let go.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't really do anything. And it even felt funny that like 20 seconds after the WLF have dragged this guy off, Jesse and Ellie are just out of no longer behind cover, walking around and talking. I was like,
right.
What are they were just right here, man. Like, y'all are not playing this cool at all.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So that kind of bummed me out. From there, we bounce over to Isaac and the WLF, who are preparing an assault on the Sarapites. There's a big storm coming, Barrett.
Is it one or is it two? How many storms?
The storms converge.
Because aren't the storms, aren't they going to converge?
I think they're converging.
Yeah.
Multiple storms converging, and they're sort of stoked about that because it will give them cover.
Yeah. One of their science men says that it's going to be a convergence point.
Yes, yeah. They've got their local meteorologist.
Right, yeah.
Jason. who's given them updates on these storms converging.
No idea why this was important, Ross. I do not understand the convergence point. I did not get this. I mean, they're trying what's happening.
They tried to play with like the idea that all these things are coming together. Now it's all coming together. You're going to get Abby, and you're going to get Isaac, and you're going to get the Scars, and you're going to get the WLF, and you're going to get Tommy, and you're going to get Jesse, and you're going to get Dina, and you're going to get Ellie, and everything's going to come together. It's all going to converge. But
why did this? But I don't understand why the storms mattered for their attack.
So I could be wrong, but my read was that they're going over there by boat.
Yeah.
To Saraphite Island, is what I'll call it. And
everybody knows that the Cheekies hate rain.
Well, it's I guess the darkness and the thunder and the lightning and it makes the visibility an issue, so they can't just see all the boats coming.
But why do they need two storms to converge? Why not just a regular storm giving them the cover of rain and darkness and scary lightning?
I guess two storms is better than one. Anybody being sneaky knows that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. It was a little bit of a confusing conversation for sure, where you're like, what?
I understand that we're probably going to get a lot of gaps filled in season 3, especially as it relates to what is going on within the WLF. But again, I thought this was a scene that I just kind of stumbled through because I had no fucking clue what Isaac was talking about with storms and convergences and Abby, and one guy's out doing another thing, and 2 people fled and left or something, and they're not here. And I had no idea what was happening.
It gets a little confusing when they start getting into, well, first of all, the lady accuses him of like being in love with Abby, and then he sort of begrudgingly is like, no, but now that you've accused me of, I don't even being what is that even called? Because it's not
creepy old man.
Now that you've accused me of being a creepy old man, I'll give you my real reason.
A lecherous old man,
right? Which is that I thought Abby was going to be our next leader,
right? And
I'm pretty sure I'm going to die tonight.
By the way, you're probably dying tonight too.
Also, you
don't know if you knew that or not, but you're probably dying tonight. Just FYI.
Nice pump up speech, Isaac. You're about to. If I'm her, I'm like, you know what? I might just stick around here tonight. You guys, good luck with the battle. But yeah. Because he thinks he's going to die, and he thought Abby was going to be their next leader, and then the lady is like, well, maybe she's not, because she's not even here. And it's like, okay, well, fuck, what the fuck? But Isaac doesn't know where Abby is. Nobody knows where she is, and they get into like the fact that her whole crew is missing. And this is where we'll get some gaps filled, hopefully, in season 3.
Right.
Where did Abby go? Why did Abby go there? Why wasn't her crew aware of where she was? Even when we come across these 2 other ones in a little bit, they're trying to discuss how to find her. Why did she go behind enemy lines? Like so there's more confusion here. Okay. Anyway, Abby's crew is missing. WLF is going to attack the Sarapites. Isaac thinks he's going to die. So Jesse and Ellie get to the library, and surprise, Tommy is not there at the rendezvous point. Such a shock. But there are some children's books, though, including the most traumatizing children's book of all time.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught this.
Love You Forever by Robert Munsch, of which I have a copy behind me right here.
There it is.
No one should read this book. It should be banned. If any book can be banned and burned, it should be this one. It is far too emotionally traumatizing to be read by any parent or to any child. So thankfully, Ellie does not pick up Love You Forever.
I'm going to make sure that nobody gave us that one.
And if somebody does give it to you, simply use it as kindling for your next fire.
For my next book burning fire.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we do those regularly. But instead, Ellie picks out the monster at the end of this book, starring lovable furry old Grover. It's a Sesame Street book.
Yeah.
And I think this is meant to be some foreshadowing, like there's a monster at the end of this episode,
Might be a little foreshadowing.
A little bit of that.
Didn't Sesame Street, wasn't there some news about, Netflix steps up to save Sesame Street. Shouts to Netflix.
Yeah. So
out there doing the Lord's work.
Sesame Street, historically a PBS program, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What, they run out of money?
Well, I think they got defunded.
Oh. Well, there you go. That'll do it.
Yeah.
But Netflix is going to bring Sesame Street over their way. They already got Miss Rachel on Netflix now.
That's right. Yeah.
They're really doing it, bringing in the kids' programming.
It's a smart play. It's a smart play.
Shout out to Miss Rachel, the goat. Jesse tells Ellie he doesn't love Dina the way that Ellie does, and then goes on to share a story about how actually he fell in love with some girl who came through slanging bad paintings.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it was like the best 4 weeks of his life.
2 weeks.
2 weeks of his life.
Yeah.
But then she had to go
down Mexico way
with her folks, with her people. And he really wanted to go, but he didn't go, Barrett, because it's not just all about him.
Right.
And Jesse's a good guy who recognizes that the community of Jackson, these people brought him in, they trained him up, they fed him, they clothed him, and they are family.
Yeah.
And Jesse knows a thing or two about family.
It's the most important thing.
Family. So the back and forth between Jesse and Ellie over who's a good person really gets into high gear here.
Yeah, she's kind of taken with the story for a moment, and then she realizes that he's being pedantic about it.
Yeah.
Right. So
He's like, I wanted to go, but I didn't because I'm a good person, not a selfish piece of shit narcissist psychopath like you.
Yeah. Important to note here, Ross, that Sesame Street episodes will continue to air on PBS.
Oh, wow.
Debuting the same day as they launch on Netflix. So Netflix being, I'm just a total benefactor here with, just they're saving Sesame Street with this streaming deal.
So that they can continue.
But allowing it to run on PBS as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the benevolent Ted Sarandos.
They're not gatekeeping Sesame Street.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah. Okay.
So Jesse and Ellie hear over the walkie-talkie that a sniper has some WLF pinned down, and they're like, the sniper must be Tommy. And we know it's probably Tommy, but real-life circumstance, I'm not sure I would be as confident as they were, considering they're in a war zone,
Yeah.
It just... I half agreed with Ellie when she tells him, we don't even know that it's him.
Right.
But anyway, they hear... Sniper has a bunch of WLF pinned down. They go to a high point to see if they can figure out where Tommy is. And unfortunately, Ellie spots the Ferris wheel, and there's a whale mural on a wall near it. So you see the whale, the art of a whale.
She sees a whale and a wheel.
And then the wheel. But that did take me back to Nora. And it almost reminds me of in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, when Gollum gets captured and they're torturing him, and he yells out 2 words, Shire, Baggins, and they're able to take those 2 words and figure out exactly where the ring is.
Okay.
Because, you're telling me she's beaten Nora to death with a pipe, breaking her legs, and Nora decides in that moment, you know what? I will give up Abby.
Okay. I did this exact mental calculus in my head. I was like, if you're Nora, and you're getting
it's over.
It's over.
She's infected,
definitely
and
dying.
being tortured.
There is no why would you rat? I guess I came to the conclusion that all you want in that moment is the pain to stop. You just want anything
right.
You are being hurt so badly that you will do anything to make it stop.
Right. So that has to be it.
I guess
And she just went whale wheel.
But I definitely thought about that.
Yeah. I don't know.
At the end of the day, she is just a WLF stooge, pawn.
A
grunt, right? She's not Jason Bourne out there.
Yeah.
She's not Ethan Hawke.
But it just seemed like random details. How about just say Ferris wheel?
She's nor Ethan Hawke nor Ethan Hunt, which is who I meant.
But just say Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Not whale wheel. I guess when you're going down in
mumbling
flames,
a sentence, and those are the only 2 words.
The brain
Ellie
synapses are firing off. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but anyway, that's all she got was whale wheel.
Look for the whale. Well, it's down by the wheel.
That's about how it went down. Anyway, so she sees the whale. She sees the whale and the wheel. And she's And she's like, holy shit, those are the clues. They're right there. I see them with my binocs. She's got her binoculars. This is far as shit away, by the way. So Ellie wants to go get Abby, of course, and Jesse is like, dude, you're a fucking lunatic. Good luck. Hope you make it. I'm gonna go save Tommy, and they split off and go their separate ways.
They've got the big, this is where they shout about my community, your community.
Yeah. So just because that random cult member who guts people wasn't in your community, you couldn't save him. And I was like, why the hell would Tommy care about saving that guy? Yeah, but you see what they were trying to do there, and I get it. And it's like playing into a bigger conversation about
tribalism, bad.
Yes, yeah. That's the gist of it. Yeah. That's the gist of it. Which again felt a little heavy-handed. And I should say, I feel like I'm coming off really negative so far. I didn't hate this episode. I thought it was fine for all intents and purposes. It definitely wasn't my favorite from a plot standpoint because things kept happening like this where I was like, oh, for the love of Pete. Visually, it was incredible. Performance-wise, it was just fine. I just thought, like, plot-wise, I kept bumping up against things that were unfolding, like leaving the pregnant girl behind, whale wheel, the Jesse and Ellie back and forth shit was sort of, it didn't really work for me the way I think they meant it to.
I did not like this episode, but I want to save my thoughts for the full picture, the broader picture.
Fair enough.
It's hard to talk about. Because this episode does have so many like very intentional points about this whole like cycle of trauma and violence and tribalism. It's hard to talk about. Like, I'll just wait till we get to the end.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Ellie and Jesse are splitting up here. Now, later this week, Barrett and I will drop another episode of our podcast exclusively on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles, where you can find a link in the description of this episode to that website, by the way. We will be taking hotline calls from listeners and diving deeper into this season finale of The Last of Us. We do this every week. We did this every week for every episode of this season. So there are already 6 hotline call-based episodes of further The Last of Us Season 2 discussion available on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles for you to enjoy. Patreon is a place for creators like Barrett and I to get more direct support from our audience, our listeners, our viewers. And because this week, again, we do not have a sponsor, we are asking you to support our show by subscribing on Patreon. It is just $5 a month to join the Clam Fam tier and gain access to all of our ad-free audio podcasts, further discussing The Last of Us via hotline calls from listeners and our entire backlog of content from the past 5 years. So much more OCC, all ad-free. Right now, on top of that, there's a 7-day free trial you can access. If you just want to get in there for a week, for 7 days for free, check out the 6 existing hotline call episodes for The Last of Us Season 2 that are already in there. You can do that, and then hopefully you like what you get, you stick around. There's also a $10 a month tier called the Mollusk Militia, where you can enjoy all of our ad-free premium episodes in video as well as audio. Your choice, plus we're covering Andor Season 2, 3 episodes at a time right now. We are doing episodes 10 through 12, the final 3 at some point in the next week or two. Holidays and whatnot obviously come into play here. But yeah, Andor podcasts are the only thing the Clam Fam tier does not currently get access to. You'll have to be in the Mollusk Militia tier if you want those. In the Mollusk Militia tier, you also get our hotline numbers so you can call in and be featured on the show, and you get access to our Discord server. And if you only want our ad-free Andor Season 2 coverage, you're not interested in our backlog or The Last of Us hotline calls, you can join the Rebel Scum tier on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles, which is also home to all 86 of our companion podcasts for The Sopranos, HBO's classic crime drama. Our Sopranos podcasts are friendly to both first-timers and rewatchers, so if you want to go rewatch The Sopranos or maybe hit it for the first time if you never have and ride with Barrett and I, for every episode of The Sopranos, we have a companion podcast on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. We've got Patreon exclusive episodes for The Last of Us, Severance, The White Lotus, Succession, Shogun, Silo, Foundation, The Penguin, and more. Subscribe on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles today, and you will get additional episodes this week instead of just the one, all while being a huge part of why our show continues to exist into the future. Big thanks to everyone who is already on Patreon and powering Barrett and I towards year 10 of this podcast's existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Collections, too. Maybe you're just not down for like a monthly sub, There are all sorts of stuff that you can buy in our collections page.
Yeah, you can buy our movie club.
You just scroll over when you go to patreon.com/oystersclaimscockles. It'll start you on home, which has all of the tiers and the details. But then you just pop right over to the next tab, collections, and let's just say I am very interested in hearing these guys do their whole Sopranos rewatch. Boom, that's a collection. You can just buy the whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, without having to subscribe.
Correct.
You can purchase a bunch of our different collections individually by clicking on that collections tab. Good note, Barrett. Patreon.com/oystersclamscockles. So, Ellie heads out to find a boat, sees all the WLF loading up onto boats to go invade Saraphite Island.
They're heading towards the convergence zone, I believe.
Everyone's converging. Ellie's crazy ass then gets a boat, takes it head on into the storm, solo. Mm-hmm. Of course, she gets capsized by a giant wave. Washes up on Saraphite Island.
Just one big wave.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know what's happening out there in that ocean, that Seattle Bay, but
just one
massive
15-foot wave.
20 feet? 25?
20 foot. Let's call it 20.
I think the guys on 100-foot wave, they would have surfed the hell out of that.
Oh, yeah. They would have hit that shit hard. But not Ellie in her boat. It takes her ass out.
It capsizes her, yeah.
Somehow the boat floats up to the beach where she also ends up, which was good luck. And then she looks up and there's some little Saraphite child, just some...
Does she have the good luck charm on, by the way, at this point?
Yeah.
Dina gave that to her?
The good luck charm on her.
She kind of buried the hatchet a little bit, like, hey, I don't know about all that Joel stuff, still working through it, but we're good. We're okay.
Here's a little something. Take it with you.
Yeah.
I'm still alive, so it must be working.
Right.
And, come back, because I'm pregnant and alone.
Yeah.
So maybe that worked a little magic here, because she does get lucky enough to wash up onto the beach. Unfortunately, there's a cultish child waiting for her that immediately rats her out. So she gets captured. And long story short, they're about to spill Ellie's guts with almost zero conversation. She's like, I'm not a wolf. And they all look at the little kid, and the little kid's like, does like the
gut movement,
the gutting
it means,
symbol.
Yeah, it's basically like it's the gladiator thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah,
but
Except
it's just thumb starts at the belly, and then you go like that with your thumb out.
Mm-hmm. Kill her.
That little.
And they're
fucker.
like, well, that's enough for us. The kid wants her to die. I'm like, is the kid their new leader?
I hated this scene. This was stupid.
Yeah, because you know what ends up happening, Barrett? They're about to gut her, and then they hear like a horn, and they're like, oh my God, Saraphite Island is being invaded. And then one guy's like, what do I do with her? And the lady goes, just set her free and let her go. Let her live. What the hell was that?
Ross, give me a ballpark estimate on how long you think it takes to gut somebody. 10 seconds?
We've literally watched it happen like last episode or the one before that.
Seems pretty quick.
It's super quick.
And maybe
one person pulls the rope, the other person spills their guts, and then you can walk off.
And then you can walk off. I don't know. I know that they don't have like machine guns over on the Saraphite side, but I have seen, I don't know, hammers, smaller guns, ropes, all sorts of other ways.
They've got bolt-action rifles.
They've got bolt-action That's right. They've got crossbows because Dina gets a crossbow to the leg.
Yes.
You're telling me they did all this work to capture this no-name. They're not gonna question her whatsoever. They're just like, girl we don't recognize, must be a wolf, let's kill her. And then one horn blows, and they're just like,
never mind.
Never mind, we must go. Leave her.
Set her free. Yeah, no, this was crazy. And this is a moment where I was like, I really hope that when we get, because we don't know a whole lot about the Saraphites. All we know is that they follow this prophet, and now they've got some small child making the shots for them.
There might be more than one prophet, by the way. That's a little wrinkle.
Yeah, because we see a different mural of the prophet in this episode,
and she's different.
She's a person of color.
Right.
It appears, whereas it was like a white lady the first mural we saw.
It's opening that door back up for the Gale scenario.
Right? What the fuck?
Maybe Gale is one of the prophets.
They even give us that bit of exposition between Jesse and Ellie.
Yeah.
Where she's like, hey, look, there might be more than one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, thanks for that.
That seemed important.
Thanks for that note. We'll just go ahead and put a pin in that shit for season 3. But because we don't know a lot about the Seraphites or why they do what they do, this scene felt completely ridiculous.
This was
just because it's there was
what was the one? there was a Game of Thrones scene or House of the Dragon scene in season 1 that Sapochnik talked about how he was like, oh yeah, I wanted to add this. This not in the book, but I wanted to put this in. I think it might have been the Rhaenys coming up from the floorboards and not eating all of the
really?
The greens or something like that. Yeah. I think that was it. Anyway, one of our callers can remind us what that was, I'm sure. Did you watch the after the episode?
No.
Okay.
I was too scared that they were going to say dumb shit that was going to let me know context for season 3.
Okay. Okay. So no context for season 3 here, but they talk about how this was something that they had wanted to put in the game. They had wanted Ellie to get captured by the Sarapites, but they didn't have room for it, or they didn't have time for it, or it didn't work out or make sense for one reason or the other. So they were very excited to get to do it in the show. And I was like, oh God, why? No.
Oh, okay. No. So they forced this moment.
They forced this in. This is not in the game.
So there must be some reason they wanted this longer term. That's what I'm saying. There has to be a hole that gets filled here to make this scene make sense. Because literally, this is what happens. Ellie gets in a boat. She's trying to get to the Ferris wheel whale. She gets capsized. She washes up on Saraphite Beach. Mm-hmm. They capture her. They're about to gut her. A horn goes off. They let her go. She gets right back in the boat and then goes to the wheel.
Yeah.
So it's like a pit stop for us to be, reminded that the Seraphites are psychotic,
killers as well?
That we already knew that.
Right.
So I just don't know what we were supposed to get out of this unless it ties to something longer term in season 3, which it clearly must, or it was just a god-awful storytelling decision, and I try to give these people the benefit of the doubt, you know?
This was a bad one. This was a dumb one. There's no reason there's no way they let her go if they're bothering with all that setup to kill this person that they have no intention of, clearly she's a threat, a big enough one that they don't even need to ask her questions.
They're not going to try to convert her, nothing. They're just, nope, time to string her up and kill her. They take her straight to the rope that they've already got hung. Yeah. What, were they just hanging out, waiting for people to show up on the beach so they could do this? It was just bizarre. That whole scene was bizarre.
And I mean, I had too many questions. Would you not try to torture her, get some information out of her?
Yeah, I really don't know.
She literally knows where Abby is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't really get what the Seraphites' end game is. I don't understand. This was
just gutting.
Gutting and running. That's what they do. But I'm putting a pin in that little kid, too. He seemed important. The way they're letting him call the shots made me feel like that little kid was going to come into play longer term. Why else single out this child like that?
I just think it was to show that even the kids are
twisted.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Maybe not. Even the kid. To me, this was even the kids are indoctrinated into this style of violent tribalism where they don't even he doesn't give a shit about Ellie. He just
not asking questions.
Wants to see blood.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, anyway, back on the boat.
Needs to see them intestines come out.
Yeah. Back on the boat, back into the storm, which made me furious. And this time she makes it to the whale wheel. She finds 2 members of Abby's crew. It's her, Abby's sort of boyfriend, and then the other chick.
Uh-huh.
She's trying to get them to tell her where Abby is, because as she's sneaking up, they're arguing about trying to go and find Abby to extract her from behind enemy lines.
Okay.
And Abby's boyfriendish guy tries to pull a fast one.
He does.
Ellie puts a bullet in his neck, just right through the old windpipe there. Yeah. Adam's apple gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, also hits the girl behind him because the bullet went straight through his throat clean. And the girl who got hit is pregnant.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack here. One, I was so confused because it wasn't clear to me that the girl also got hit by a bullet. She was just suddenly holding her neck, and they look behind and they see the bullet hole in the file cabinet behind them. And I was like, wait, I thought initially that it went through the guy, hit the wall behind them, and then bounced back and hit the girl.
Wait, so when I watched, I was pretty sure you see him, you see the bullet go through his neck.
Yeah, it's very clear cut.
And then I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I see that it went through hers as well. I could see a little what looked like a wound.
Yeah.
And then she looks through and sees the bullet hole in the back, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is some giant caliber fucking revolver
It's
round.
Joel's Magnum, yeah.
That just went through 2 bodies and then hit the wall. And then she turns and then the blood starts leaking out of her neck, and you can see that she's been hit too.
Yeah, so she's grabbing her neck, trying to stop the blood.
Yeah.
And drops onto her back, and you immediately get that angle where you can see her pregnant belly. And I am not joking. I almost turned it off. I almost turned it off.
Yeah.
That when she goes, the knife, get the knife, I was like, nope, no, I will not partake. I will not partake in this. Thankfully, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But even without what would have been the most absurdly unnecessary and grotesque scene in television history, this was still so over the top for me. I was like, dude, what? And yes, it plays more into like Ellie realizing she's a monster, I think. Like my read is by the end of this episode, Ellie is like, I need to change. Like, if not for the final scene, I think we see Ellie on some path to change.
Okay.
Because I thought that was my only takeaway was like, okay, now this is the worst thing she's ever done. She keeps topping herself.
Right.
And at some point she's going to break.
Yeah.
But this was brutal to watch, man. The girl dies, Ellie is wrecked.
Yeah. This was super tough, and in keeping with HBO tradition, one of our wives must be very pregnant when they do traumatic childbearing things.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was an immediate fast forward. As soon as she even mentions the knife, it was just like Laura's like cowering under blankets. And I was like, you want to skip this?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip this part.
Let's go ahead and skip this part.
Yeah, I thought of you immediately. I was like, oh, poor Barrett and Laura, man.
Yeah. We were almost home. We were almost home free, And then they just, HBO, just right here in the finale, they just cannot help themselves with this type of stuff.
We already got pregnant Dina, but that's not enough. She's not far enough along for it to be extremely brutal. So let's get a full-blown pregnant lady and kill her.
I am going to make you even more upset. This scene is in the video game. Her asking Ellie to cut it out is an ad. That is a show ad. That is a Craig Mazin ad.
They went a level further
to drive the stake, like to like twist the knife in even harder.
Wow. Didn't need it.
And I did not need that. This is like, okay, so this is the second or third. It's hard to keep count. But after the Saraphite kid is like stripped naked and dragged away. Oh, and then you have Ellie nearly gets gutted. And then you have this scene, and I'm pretty much at my breaking point at this. Like, I was like, okay, this is, I fucking get it.
It's so much darkness, dude.
And then there's still another one.
And it's not over, yeah.
To come. It was
a lot.
It was a lot. It really, really was. And frankly, I just like, obvious caveat that I have my wife is 38 weeks pregnant, but I didn't need this. I didn't need this.
I mean, dude,
this is another level of like, of like, just kind of like feel bad torture porn type stuff.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. It's like it takes it from like entertainment to just like punishment in a way.
So in the game, she is pregnant.
Yeah.
But they don't do the whole cut it out thing.
She doesn't like beg for Ellie to perform a fucking C-section on her.
Yeah,
now.
probably because that's insane.
Right.
Oh, okay, murderous stranger. Now I want you to cut my baby out of me and take it with you. Raise it as your own. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Conceptually, it was crazy, but okay, that really sucks that they forced that in there. Because for me, I was like, I didn't even need her to be pregnant.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. I fully agree.
It just ratcheted it up to a level that's it's like unbelievably, sad.
Here, okay. I think the thing with her being pregnant, like, it makes me feel like I'm actually glad that there's going to be probably like a 2.5 year gap between season 2 and season 3 so that I can kind of forget about all this and
refresh
and maybe refresh myself and be sort of excited to come back and see the Abby side of things. But like, I was like, okay, like, I don't need any more. Like, I get it. This is an awful, horrible place. The cycle is never going to end. Ellie has now reached like the bottom of the bottom. This is how could she possibly get any lower than this?
You can't.
And so it's like, what else can you say? What else do you have to tell me now at this point?
Right? Literally at rock bottom.
Right.
What is worse than murdering a pregnant lady?
That's kind of where I was with it. Is like, okay, well, I don't know what left there is to really show me or tell me at this point.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you,
to
man.
This level.
It was tough. And look, and then I was like, well, it was an accident.
Right.
This fucking idiot dude should not have pulled that pistol. That was a stupid move.
Yeah.
He put the pregnant lady next to him at risk.
Yeah.
So it's not all Ellie's fault, but like at the same time, Ellie should have never been on this mission in the first place.
Right.
To go to the whale wheel should have never been a thing. So it's tough to even reckon, like, you can't even pass blame. I can't even find somebody to blame. I'm like, it's just everybody's fault. It's the world's fault.
Right.
And is that what I'm supposed to sit with on Sunday night every fucking night, every episode of the show?
Yeah.
The world sucks, it's broken, and humans are awful?
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's just like, I was so happy. I told people before even the season finale aired, earlier Sunday afternoon, I was like, I am so stoked that this is the last episode of this season. Prior to the season, when I found out it was 7 episodes, I was so bummed. Like, dude, 10. How are you taking one away? At least we had 8 in season 1 or whatever it was. Now I'm so glad it was only 7 episodes because I can't do this every Sunday, dude.
Yeah.
I can't do this every Sunday.
I mean, yeah.
Killing me here. So, yeah, Jesse and Tommy then miraculously show up immediately after she has committed this deed. They take Ellie back to Dina. They strategize on how to get out of Seattle and back to Jackson. Also, they drop in a line of exposition to explain that Shimmer, Ellie's horse, is just fine. Apparently just chilling in the record store for like 3 episodes now. But
munching hay, you know?
Jesse and Tommy came across Shimmer. I guess they need Shimmer for season 3 or 4 at some point. Tommy tries to make Ellie feel better about the people she just killed, get her to make peace with the fact that Abby gets to live. And this was a moment where I was like, okay, so I can kind of see what they're doing here. Ellie's maybe going to turn away from the Joel path and toward a more righteous path of, you know, human love or whatever you want to call it, but like not just being a murderous psycho.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, within seconds of that occurring, Tommy's like, I'm going to go pack up the duffels. I was like, oh God. So then Jesse and Ellie start talking and Jesse's like, I came back for you because I know you would burn the world down to save me if the shoe was on the other foot. And before they can even really sit in that warmth, Tommy's suddenly yelling. So Jesse and Ellie just full gung-ho sprint through the door into the next room where, of course, Abby domes Jesse
straight in the face.
Immediately. Instant death.
Yeah.
Executed. Over. Tommy is still alive. He's on the ground. Abby's got him at gunpoint. Ellie tries to talk Abby into killing her, like, I'm the one you want. Joel did all that and killed your dad to save me. Kill me. And then Abby's like, I let you live and you wasted it. And has the gun pointed at Ellie.
Yeah.
And when she pulls the trigger, the screen goes black.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened.
Right.
We go from there to we reopen with Abby sleeping on a couch. She wakes up. She walks out to see the WLF set up in a stadium, Seattle Seahawks football stadium.
Correct.
Lumen Field. And it's Seattle day 1.
Yeah.
Roll credits. So to unpack this backwards, first of all, clearly, season 3 is going to be Abby's POV of Seattle.
For the 3 days.
Going back to day 1, then to day 2, then to day 3. I get that setup. It's probably the high point of this episode.
I was just about to say, I at least liked, I didn't totally understand why we were doing day 1, day 2, why we were doing that count in Seattle, but I just rolled with it. And now to see how they're going to flip it, I'm like, oh, okay, I thought that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll
I can jive with that.
Yeah, to see the flip side. But in the aftermath of an episode that was this just dark and
a beating,
violent, it wasn't like I was like gassed up for it.
You weren't like, oh fuck yeah. No. It was kind of like it was like relief. I was like, okay, good. Like there's some direction here for next season. But so what did you make of this scene where Jesse's clearly dead? He's a goner.
Yeah. He's like bleeding out of a bullet hole in his face.
But Ellie can't be dead.
Okay.
Right? You know what else pissed me off about it just before we get into it? Now, I once again feel like I have to be extremely careful on the internet to avoid spoilers going forward.
Oh, yeah, for another 2.5 years?
Yes. Which is miserable. I might just go play the fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. Tiptoeing around the goddamn internet, trying to not leave. Like, I don't know if Ellie's dead.
I would play the game, except for I just watched all these things that happen in the game. I don't want to do that.
You don't want to experience that?
I don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Okay, so I left the episode being like, oh, wow, they really did it. Ellie's dead.
But there's no way.
Well, and then, so 5 minutes later, because I'm a dum-dum, Laura leans over and she's like, so Dina just killed Abby, right?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a real possibility. My mental gymnastics was Tommy like sweeps the leg.
Okay.
And so Abby fires the gun and misses Ellie.
Sweeps the he could sweep the leg. Yeah.
Because he's on the ground, sweep the leg.
You're right. I don't think...
But something has to happen to keep Abby from killing Ellie here. There's no way that season 3 is going Seattle day 1, day 2, day 3, and then we watch Ellie get murdered.
Well, okay. Because I have heard the possibility, like that season 4 is a real, if not likely possibility, that's the only thing that's making me think that Ellie's got to stay alive.
Otherwise, but just from like a character death justification standpoint, you can't have that be the way Ellie goes out. I'm thinking of it this way. Let's just say for the sake of argument that Abby did kill Ellie right there, and that stylistically they chose to not show us and have the screen go black.
Right.
Do you have any idea how angry viewers would be if they spend their time watching season 3 with Abby as the main focal point, which is clearly the case?
Right.
Going day 1, day 2, day 3, just to get to day 3 and have to watch her kill Ellie? From like a storytelling standpoint, that does not make narrative sense if you're trying to have a happy audience anyway.
I guess,
but maybe this show isn't.
But we do not know. We cannot say what happened in that moment.
No.
So the
we have
reveal
no idea.
could be that she does, in fact, kill Ellie, right?
Yeah. But I think it's way more likely that it's something like you're saying. Like either Dina comes in and saves the day, or Tommy sweeps the leg, or something has to happen. Because, frankly, I don't even see how you could pull off. I don't know. But it was fucking crazy. This was a crazy ending to the episode.
Here's the other thing. Do you think that, where can Abby die here? Do you think this is
I don't think so either.
Do you think this is a good endpoint for Abby?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't get that feeling.
That doesn't register either.
No, because it feels like
that's the story. Right?
Yeah, it feels like the bulk of.
So if either of them die, I don't really know what
we're doing anymore. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
What a season 4 would be.
They both have to be alive to me. They both have to be. Otherwise, why queue up Abby as this character if you're not going to spend a bunch of time investing in her longer term? But the big questions are: is Ellie alive? And I think 90% sure yes. Where the hell is Dina? Pregnant and alone. Where was she when they... So right before this happens, they're all together again, right? Ellie, Dina, Tommy, and Jesse, right?
I think Dina is in the dressing room where she's been.
So she's not out there with them.
Like when they're sitting at the stage, right? And there's where Jesse and Ellie have that little moment.
Right.
I don't think Dina's with them. I think
she's not.
Yeah, I think it's
But she's in the same
Jesse.
place, though.
Yeah, she's in the
in
theater,
a different room.
But I think she's in the dressing room.
Like
where
resting.
Where she was resting earlier and washing Ellie's back, that room.
Okay, so she's...
And she's also been like on the balcony, looking down on the barricade. So she's been in other places.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's definitely an ace in the hole there.
I think so. Yeah. That feels most likely to me. Even if she does not kill Abby, even if she just fires a gunshot that
somehow saves
Ellie. Yeah.
No infected in the finale.
Nope.
Which was interesting.
What's the
for all the fucking noise these people are making in Seattle.
What's the Harry Potter Voldemort prophecy? It's like one must die for the other to live.
One can't live without the other. Like they both have to be alive
or dead or something like that.
Or dead.
Yeah. It's kind of how I feel.
I was always a little confused by that Harry Potter.
It was a confusing prophecy.
So that's how you feel with Ellie Abby?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. They've shared energy.
Let's say some positive things.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how scary and intimidating Caitlin Dever can be.
Yeah, man, she's awesome.
She is crushing that. She is terrifying when she shows up in that theater.
Yeah. And you believe it.
And she's kind of like a smaller person, like not exactly physically imposing.
Right.
Go rewatch Booksmart if you want to. If
she's a little lady.
Yeah. So the way that she is able to kind of carry herself and speak.
She's 5'2".
Yeah.
5'2".
And I know they kind of needed her, I think, to be a little bit on the smaller side because Bella Ramsey is also very small. But she is a
5'1". Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, she's but Caitlin Dever very effective in the Abby role. So
most definitely.
I'll say that. You mentioned already the visuals. I really like. Strangely enough, this show makes me want to visit Seattle.
Yeah. No, even overgrown and post-apocalyptic, it looks tight.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this place looks cool, and it's not even Seattle. It's mostly shot in Vancouver.
Right,
so,
right. Yeah.
Maybe I should also visit Vancouver.
We want to visit Vancouver.
That was good. Yeah. That and other than that, this was a really, really tough one for me.
Like, I don't even know if you're supposed to love this.
Yeah.
You know, that's the feeling I walked away with.
It's you know, I kind of said it before, but like this one definitely crossed that line from this is dark but entertaining into this is an absolute beating and is no longer fun. Like this is not fun.
No, this was not a fun episode, man.
And that's a tough place to be for a show because it's like, while I don't want this show to become The Walking Dead, where it's just like walkers, stalkers, like
different villain every season.
The mushroom's gonna get us, like, and we're just kind of kicking the can down the road and down the road and down the road and down the road. Like I appreciate that there's real narrative to this story, but at the same time, my big takeaway from this is like I don't really know what more this show can tell me, can say to me about this world. And that's my biggest kind of like concern troll going into season 3 is like I'm interested. I'm actually strangely I kind of really want to know more about the WLF Saraphite War at this point. They focus a lot on that this episode, just about how insane the war is, basically. And now I'm kind of like, well, you got to tell me more about this then. I kind of need to know. But that sort of detracts a little bit from the Ellie and Abby of it all.
Well, I think that's the upside when this season ends.
Yeah.
Is that it feels like to me for season 3 they're shelving Ellie.
Yeah,
like when that screen goes black, that is a shelving moment. We are not going to check back in with this character for a little while. That's what that is saying to me.
I would agree with that. I don't think we see Ellie until probably the end of season 3.
So it probably picks up with Seattle Day 1 for Abby. Yep. We follow Abby's story. We see the big Seraphite Island invasion that Isaac is leading. Eventually, when we get to Seattle Day 3, we find out in the meantime, like why Abby disappears. Why doesn't Isaac know where she is? Why isn't any of her crew with her? Why is she solo when she comes across Tommy?
Yep.
And then kills Jesse.
Yep.
And does whatever she does to Ellie. Like what the hell happened in that scene we just watched unfold? But like that concept, a season of WLF versus Seraphites sounds tight. That I can get behind and be interested in because it's not just repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
But I am concerned with what your overall point is, which is like, look, the show has said a lot in 2 seasons. Does it have more to say? Beyond humanity is damned, the violence never stops.
And that's the tough part because we've talked about how borderline like nihilistic the show can be and about how what it seems like its main message is that these types of cycles rarely, if ever, end. They are just kind of continued and continued and continued because people choose retribution and vengeance and revenge over forgiveness and focus on what still is, right? And
they choose violence.
They do choose violence. It's not a show that at very many stops has said, "Hey, we have some hope here." It does every once in a while, but like if it doesn't turn back to that, I don't see where the story goes. Like it has to, like at this point now, I feel like it actually has to start raising itself up to a higher note. Otherwise,
what's the point?
What's the point? Right.
Yeah, and that's where I felt the Ellie shift.
Yeah.
Like, you get this ultimate low moment with her having accidentally killed this pregnant woman, and I feel like it has to shift towards lightness for her character because there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
Down the dark tunnel. It's a fucking dead end.
Yeah, I mean, what else do we want to see from Ellie here? Like,
she's just going to start.
Do I need to keep seeing her beat people to death? Like,
no, like I need to see change.
Yeah,
I need to see something change.
Right.
And maybe that's what season 4 is. You know, the changed version of Ellie. Maybe I don't fucking know. But I feel like Ellie has plot armor because it's the story is Ellie and Joel.
Yeah.
You just killed Joel. You're gonna kill Ellie too? I feel like
you're
no.
Right. You're probably right.
I feel like no. Like it's her story now, and she's got to go on. You know. And even if Abby takes the wheel for season 3, like I still feel like you have to go back to Ellie being the main character eventually. Otherwise, what the fuck did we just do this for 2 seasons?
Yeah.
4.
It's just yeah. It's just also hard to see season 4 being like the remaining Jackson survivors from Seattle, Ellie and whoever else, being like, well, it's time to go back to Jackson. Now let's rebuild Jackson. And season 4 is just like them like
living in Jackson,
restoring the Ace Hardware,
a Jackson sitcom.
In Jackson.
Yeah, you're right. No, man,
I don't know. So
when you say, I mean, I assume there's still more bad shit to come. Like the show kind of uses that as currency. But
I'm down for that, by the way. If you just want to get back to Jackson for season 4 and just be like, hey, these are the people that are left, and they are turning over a new leaf.
Yeah,
they are seeing the glass half full, baby.
Starting to smell the roses. Maybe get a strawberry garden going.
Yes.
You know, and maybe, dude. Like season 1 having that super heartfelt high point of Bill and Frank, I think did a lot more for that show than I realized, for that season than I realized. Because having something uplifting in season 2.
I mean, I guess it was the flashback penultimate, right?
Yeah.
Closest we got.
But that still ends with brutal pain, worse so than the Bill and Frank one. They got to live out their lives together. So, look, I still think they do a really good job with what they're working with here. I do think we have hit the point where with season 2 on the whole struggled to strike a healthy balance between video game narrative and show narrative. It got too muddied. They tried to stay too loyal to the game. I think they pulled some scenes that they could have let go. You know, I thought the astronaut scene was phenomenal. I thought that whole episode, the flashback of Joel and Ellie, was really, really enjoyable. But the shit in Seattle, it was just dark. There was no real like light, and I don't know who I'm even what am I rooting for at this point? Who am I invested in? Like honestly, because when Ellie killed the pregnant lady, I was like, that's it, I'm out. I'm out on Ellie. I don't care anymore. If she dies, I don't care. I don't need to see her live. I don't. What am I rooting for here?
It's totally. And I mean, honestly, even before that, it's really difficult to cheer for somebody that doesn't really care if they live or die, right?
Yeah.
Like, and she is on the warpath. She doesn't really care about her own life either. Like she just is seeking revenge on Abby. That's it.
Reckless is the word everyone's used to talk about her this season.
And so I'm not really like even pre triple homicide there. Like I wasn't really necessarily on Ellie's side watching her do what she's doing. It's no,
it's tough to watch that scene where she walks away from Jesse in the pursuit of saving Tommy.
Right.
That all it took was this 1 second of her seeing the whale wheel and being like, fuck Tommy, I'm out. Like, again, Jesse has just finished telling her, you only make decisions for you. You don't care about community. You're a selfish psycho. And she's like, yep. And I'm supposed to be like love this character? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Craig tries to talk about that in the after the episode about how that actually is supposed to like very much like level the playing field. That like that you're watching two people talk about what community is to them, and that each of their like commitment to one single person or community is actually like part of the deeper issue, right? It is part of the tribalism that is like that is the real infection, Ross.
Oh wow.
He doesn't say that, but
so
I did.
deep.
Yeah. But that's that I don't with your video game points are sound. I do there this season, more so than season 1, I was reminded of stuff that felt like I was playing a video game a little bit. But also, this last episode did make me lose a little bit of faith in like Druckmann and Mason's ability to tell this story without such a heavy hand. Like the inclusion of that Saraphite Island scene and the addition of the dying pregnant woman asking to have her baby cut out of her. It's just like I don't know. Like subtlety is usually good in these things. Like we don't. Audiences rarely want to be like beaten over the head with the morality of the creators. We'd rather be presented with something and then left to our own devices to like make an interpretation or decision. And so when they are just kind of like slapping us in the face with how nobody's good, all sides are bad, like cycle of violence, like type of stuff, I'm just like, okay, well, you've basically said what you want to say. So that's kind of where I keep coming back to about the show kind of moving forward.
That was really well put. And I'm not hopeful. And I don't think they want me to be. Maybe they should have cared a little bit more about the audience having some hope to grasp onto. But you're left in this place where, as somebody who, as a reminder, has not played the second video game, doesn't know how this ends, doesn't know where this is going, it's tough to be excited.
Yeah.
And I think you need to leave people with something to be excited about, and we don't have that on this, right? If you're just strictly a TV watcher like us, you don't have that right now.
Right.
So, beautifully shot, beautifully acted, dark as hell, crazy scenes, yes. But from a storytelling perspective, from a narrative perspective, like, is there a lot to be happy about with this? Not really, man. Like, not really. And I think those heavy-handed moments really brought down the overall quality of the episode to where, to be honest with you, I just don't. It's the next morning.
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel about this right now.
I'm glad you said that, because I finished this episode last night and I was like, man, I know I'm going to come in pretty hot on tomorrow's episode, because it'll been 12 hours since I watched this absolute beatdown. So yeah, we'll see how. I'm curious to kind of see what. Love to hear. I'm very interested to see what the Mollusk Militia has to say about this one. Very interested to take some hotline calls, and also interested to see how we feel after a few days of kind of marinating on it.
Yeah, letting it digest a little bit more. Yeah, obviously Barrett and I will be back a little bit later this week on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles, where we take hotline calls from our listenership. Hear their thoughts, their takes on the season finale, on season 2 on the whole. We'll get some insight from the gaming community who has played the second video game, giving us some comparing and some contrasting between the game and the season 2 finale as well. I'm also looking forward to that. Should be a great time. I just want to reiterate, the final scene is the only thing that got me excited. Where, like, seeing Abby walk out to the WLF football field, I was like, that is a show I'd like to watch. The problem is I don't get how it connects back to the bigger picture.
Right. I agree.
And maybe they needed to give us a little more in that vein for it to all hit a little bit more effectively. I'll save the rest of my takes for Patreon later this week. But yeah. Subscribe on patreon.com/oystersclamscockles now. Enjoy a 7-day free trial. You can check out our 6 existing Last of Us Season 2 Hotline Call episodes while you wait for our Season 2 finale Hotline Call episode. Again, we've got Andor Season 2 coverage that we're going to be wrapping up soon. Andor Season 2 really, really hit the gas on episodes 7, 8, and 9. Very stoked to get through 10, 11, and 12 and discuss those with Barrett and the Clam Fam and Mollusk Militia, and I guess I should say the Mollusk Militia and Rebel Scum on Patreon. But yeah, if you love our show, if you liked what we did here, riding with us all season for The Last of Us Season 2, we appreciate you very much, and we would love you even more if you would go to patreon.com/oystersclamscockles and support us in exchange for a lot more of us. Because this is not The Last of Us.
No, it's just the beginning.
It's the beginning of us. Check out the Ross Bolin podcast for more from me. If you're an F1 fan, check out Bolin Media-produced Formula Bone, the number one American-made F1 show in existence, to my knowledge. Formula Bone, hosted by Jared J. Bone Borislow, where he gives you a recap and a preview of every race all F1 season long. For more from Mr. Dudley, follow at Barrett Dudley on Instagram and Twitter, at BarrettDudley on the Instagram and the X machine. I'm at WR Bolin on both. You can follow our show on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Threads. Just search Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. Go to bolinmedia.com/shop to grab yourself some merch. We will also be announcing through social media in the next several days what we will be doing next, what's up next, because honestly, I was under the impression for most of the year, Barrett wasn't all the way with me, but I thought A Night of the Seven Kingdoms would be rolling out after The Last of Us Season 2. That is obviously not the case, as it is no longer being rolled out at all this year. So I don't know if we really all the way know what we're going to be doing next yet.
Yeah, June will be, we'll be scrambling. We'll be scrambling. We'll be, cooking eggs in the kitchen, basically. I will probably be out for 2 weeks at some point in June in the near future.
Little paternity leave.
But I do know. I think we're basically decided that we will, for the first time ever, be covering The Bear.
Yeah.
Season that will basically be our July is season 4 of The Bear. They hate us because they ain't us, so they are binge dumping again.
Yes,
but that it's probably a show that is better in coverage wise in chunks anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and we've got some ideas, so we'll.
There will be content.
We'll keep pumping out content. Don't you worry.
There will be content. It just might be a little random in June because Barrett's having a baby, and because HBO has no. What do they even have queued up?
There's going to be a gap. Gilded Age season 3 starts but not next week. It starts in like late June.
I'm stoked about that, but we've never really covered that episodically, and I don't know that we would.
Foundation not until July. Foundation season 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we love y'all. We're appreciative of y'all riding with us all season long. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We look forward to hearing everyone's reactions on Patreon later this week and reading them on social media as well. Until next time, do zombie noises, Barrett. Peace.